What's good, everybody? We are back. It is your boy Jarod and your girl Gabby, episode 104 of the Kicks and Shit Show. Getting the air horns going. 104. You know, we're out here. It's summertime, mid July, right? Like it literally is mid July. Everybody's doing well. Judging by your background, that means you were out on the West Coast. How's the weather out there? I'm sure lovely.
It is beautiful. Your girl is still pale as ever because anytime I've been out here, I've been having a lot going on with work, including being in the Vegas streets for SneakerCon. You know, had to rub a little Cuban link situation, you know, because it's icy in these summer.
Is it icy?
Yeah, of course. Gotta stay cool, you know what I mean?
I mean, you do gotta stay cool in these hot streets. SneakerCon Vegas, I'm sure that was interesting. What would you say was the most interesting thing you saw at SneakerCon Vegas?
Soulja Boy. I mean, I don't know. There was so much going on. I don't know if that's where you thought I was going with this, but like,
I did.
The thing about Vegas is this, right? And you know, I'm a big fan of Vegas. There are people who don't like Vegas, which I'm going to tell you why I don't understand that, Jay. Because you can have any kind of a trip and experience that you want in Vegas, right? Like over 4th of July, I was like, you know what? This bitch is going to go to the spa. And I got myself a massage. The palms just reopened, channeled my nostalgic real world vibes. It's beautiful, by the way. Had an amazing experience. And I was
Shout out to who were the real world Las Vegas crowds? Who were the Alton and Irulan.
The communal shower, R.I.P. at the Real World Suite.
Yo, why do I feel like Alton was always like? I mean, but anyway, that whole season was just insane. Like
he might not be a player, but he crushed a lot.
I mean, a lot, a lot. But like, we're also dating ourselves, by the way, showing how old we are. That we know real world Las Vegas with Alton and Irulan and Trishelle.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but like, you know what? It takes me back. You can't talk about the Palms and like not talk about that, right? I think that's a big piece of it. It's part of our childhood, Dread, you know, whether we want to admit it or not. But I think my point of saying that.
Childhood, I was an adult when that show was on, so I'm going to say young adulthood for me.
You know, maybe for you, I have to flex on the age difference a little bit. But I think the thing for me is that like, I say that because like, that day I didn't hang out with anybody. I mean, it was amazing. Like I went to the pool in the morning before it got like all poppin', had a nice little Miami Vice with a floater, then went to the spa, had a nice little day, right? It's like summer league is kicking off. So there's so much that you can do. Like you could do some shopping. And then it's like, you know, fast forward to SneakerCon when summer league is in full effect. And it's like, you know, I was like, you know, I'm going to go to the Michael Mina Steakhouse at Mandalay Bay because that's where I was staying. I find out that our girl Vic is there for 2K. They had stuff popping off and they were staying at the next hotel. So I'm like, great, here's half of the Westchester Knicks that I used to work with. Like it just, that's what I love about Vegas. But you can also have any kind of trip and you never know where the night is going to take you. So like learn how to play blackjack that evening. Apparently I am good enough to stay on a table for a while. Also, fun fact, for those who don't know, because I'm not a gambler, I am also Jewish, so I'm very protective of every dollar that I earn.
Way to play the stereotypes.
But, you know, I pulled out my cell phone to text, and the guy was like, looked at me, and almost threw me off the table. I'm like, I'm not counting cards, my friend. This is not Rain Man. It's not the hangover. I got you. So lots of fun learnings. Had a great time. You never know where things are going to go.
Lots of fun learnings. I do not take out my cell phone at the table.
Well, yes, but also it was great because like, you know, DJ Rari's in the house who like is that one of the MCs at SneakerCon. He's amazing. A whole vibe all the time. He ran into Soulja Boy at a blackjack table and was like, do you want to come to SneakerCon? It's this weekend. And he was like, all right, bet. And so they gave him like VIP access. Like that's to me what is so magical about Vegas, right? You know, because you never know where it's going to go. I think for me as a Knicks fan, like loved running into Langston Galloway. Sam Cassell was there, you know, on behalf of the Sixers. So it was great to see him.
Shout out Sam I Am.
Yeah, a lot of the G League draft picks were there. Like building, and I think you know I was hanging out with Nigel Sylvester, who was former guest of our show, BMX athlete. I think the thing about Sneakers Day, and then I'll pass it back to you, is that it's funny when you see people in the wild, right? It's like you've never met, or you're like, I know their face, right. I love the side commentary that like makes its way into my eardrums about like who people are, right? Like we had an influencer, we were with an influencer who's a big YouTube guy in LA, and someone's like, I know for a fact that guy plays for the Lakers. And I go, I know for a fact that guy does not play for the Lakers. Like, someone was asking about Nigel Sylvester this week, and I was like, that guy plays football. Do you know what team?
And you're like,
oh, no, I don't know.
Nope.
And I go, I think he plays for the New York City BMXs. And I was like, oh. Wasn't yeah,
I mean, yeah.
But you never know is my point. And Vegas is always a movie, no matter what kind of movie you're watching. Maybe it's a rom-com, maybe it's a tragedy.
Ocean's 13, who knows?
Yeah, maybe it's a thriller, who knows?
Yeah, Vegas, not really my bag, mainly because I gamble or I have a gambling vice. I have an addictive personality and I know myself. So, Vegas is not the place for me. I always say to people, I go, you can blow $1 million in Vegas in a weekend with strippers, a coke habit, and some gambling. And it's just, it's just not
there's 3 vices that you don't have.
Yes, they're not particular vices that I have at the moment, but, I've heard things. So point being, not really my kind of place to spend too much time. Summer League aside, of course, and shout out to all the youngsters out there trying to, show their wares, and other guys trying to get on and, get a chance with a squad, get an invite to training camp, and hopefully make a roster this upcoming NBA season. I wanted to touch on the W really quick. They had All-Star in Chicago last weekend, so we're a little bit late, but I had to. Did you see the size of Kelsey Plum's MVP trophy? I was like, yo, what? That looks like something you get at like the carnival, and you put the little quarter in, and you do the little grab bag to pull it out.
I get a bigger one at the carnival. I mean, like, that's the thing. When people talk about the differences in men and women's sports, right? Like, at the end of the day, I get it. The NBA is like the big.
Right. We're not asking for a Swarovski Tiffany's crystal trophy, but damn, can she not get something you find at like the five and dime?
That's what I'm saying, though. There's got to be some kind of in between. And I think when people see like people talking about it online, like, it's not like women our society's made us set our expectations real low, y'all. So I think like, yes, it's an honor to be nominated, but give us something that's not made of plastic. That's all we ask.
Yes, correct. Yes. I was just like, this is wild.
Wild.
But shout out to Kelsey Plum. And shout out to Las Vegas Aces, by the way, who are coming up Aces. See what I did there? They're doing well, man. They're really on fire. Kelsey, Asia Wilson, the whole squad is really, really doing their thing. Could be a good time this summer for the Aces in terms of a WNBA championship. So stay tuned there. Everything I saw, I don't know if you saw this. So All the Smoke podcast with Matt Barnes, Steven Stack Jackson, Glenn Big Baby Davis was the recent guest. And I don't know if you saw this. He shot a shot at Lizzo. Yes.
I am here for everything about that. No, I have not caught up on that yet. But I will say, like, these are the moments that I love about the NBA that make it so fun to watch, right? Mm-hmm. NBA and TNT, all the different conversations of the podcast. But, like, at the end of the day, I know basketball, pun and all, like, shoot or shoot. So, like.
Shoot or shoot.
I think she's a taken lady, though. I don't know.
She is a taken lady. She is a taken lady. So, sorry, Glenn. But. Good effort by you. I appreciate the effort. Like, as you say, shooters got to shoot, right? Like, I believe he said, we'll do it for the big people. And I was like,
I've heard she's got a sister, so I don't know. Maybe chances aren't up for him just yet.
But it's funny. He's been showing a lot of love to Lizzo on Instagram lately, and it was a funny moment. Like, I feel like these are the moments when, because we do this thing with like athletes, celebrities, anybody who makes a ton of money. We think of them as something other than what they are, right? Which is human beings. They're just human beings who happen to do a thing for a living that pays them a lot of money. But they have the same emotions that we do, all the things that we have, right? So it's always fun when we get to see them be like us, right? In that way where it's like, there are many of you out there who shoot your shot. Maybe not at Lizzo, but you shoot your shot, right? And sometimes it goes well, sometimes not so much, right? So it's just nice to see when they are like us, right? Because I think that's what we want from like our famous people. They're like us too, right?
I mean, and I think that's where like I was like I'm finally catching up on Stranger Things, very late to the party here. But like living for this like Doja Cat and like from Stranger Things feud about like shooting shots over DMs and like talking about crushes on shows and like, hook me up with your boy. And I think like that's where like this social media culture is especially fascinating. Like you feel like you're this close that you're a part of it. Like you could tweet your favorite celebrities and they might tweet and athletes and they might tweet you back, especially if it's good content, or they might slide in some DMs. They might respond. Like comments by celebrities is one of my favorite accounts on Instagram because you get to see like a glimpse of that. And it's like those real moments. I agree with you, Jay. Like there's people who have cool jobs and like are really good at certain skills, right? Like, but they're still people at the end of the day. So when you see them have these like human moments, it's fucking
hilarious. Yep. And also just on that note, before we head to our next segment here, I do want to say, I would love to do a show where like we get like some of our favorite ladies on, like guests, and we do like reveal your DMs to me and tell me which ballers are in your DMs.
We got to get Tamara back on the show for that one.
I know she's got people. I mean, listen, there's just I mean, I've talked to so many of them like offline. They're like, bro, let me tell you, and I'm like, oh, I can only imagine. Just all funny stuff. Anyway, folks, stay tuned because coming up next, we got a special guest for you here, right? We're going to continue this trend of, not sliding into DMs, but sneakers and all things Las Vegas. Stay tuned. What's good, everybody? We are back. Gabby, we are not alone. We are joined by Unbreakable Kicks. What's up, my guy?
What's up, bro? How you doing, man?
I am good. I'm so glad that Gabby got you as a guest to be on because the minute you popped on the screen and I saw the back of that sneaker wall, I was like, wait, hold up. Why this man got Oregon and UNC and Marquette threes? And then he told me, no, bro, I got the whole collegiate set. I almost fell off my chair out here, losing my mind. What a hell of an intro, man.
I said that's a whole Jarod that I've never seen before.
Right, he was extremely excited.
It's because it's funny, like college sports in general, and I can go on a whole rant about why I don't like it because it exploits athletes and all that. But there is something about the logos of certain universities and schools that I just love, and I'm like, that is and man, Georgetown. I mean, there's just. And they're clean, and especially on a three, which is one of my favorite silhouettes.
Okay,
that silhouette, it's so easy, especially on the tongue. You can make everything just look so clean, right? Because it's not busy, not a whole lot of crap going on, right? It's just boom, logo, color block, we're rolling, and I'm like, yes, I'm a simple man. I like simple things, and it's wonderful. But anyway, man, thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
No problem.
So I'm assuming you were out at SneakerCon enjoying yourself. I asked Gabby this question. What was the wildest thing you saw at SneakerCon?
Man, now, bro, for me, man, since I've been in sneakers for years, it's hard for me to get blown away in the wild to buy some sneakers. But it was this one particular booth that had samples of samples. So, for instance, like the Air Jordan, let me grab these, like the Air Jordan 1 Marquettes. Mm-hmm. So they had the sample of this shoe. So where you have like the embossed, branded Air wing logo, they had it more of like a plated wing logo. So I'm seeing I'm seeing samples of PEs that I have, man, and it literally just blew me away. Another guy had the Dornbecker 6, but it was on Air Jordan 14 Soul. And those are called Project 614. So I actually learned about a couple different samples. It was all look-see samples. So just things that Nike and Jordan brand were putting together. If they passed, they passed. If they didn't, they didn't. And a lot of those samples blew me away, bro.
Yeah, man, I can see that. And when you're deep in the game like you are, that's the stuff that excites you. So let's go there, man. How did this all start? When did you fall in love with sneakers?
Man, I fell in love with sneakers, I would say at the wrong time. I fell in love with sneakers, man, freshman year of college, when I'm supposed to be putting all my money towards books and all my money towards this.
Nope.
Luckily enough, I got my first 2 years of college were completely paid off for my academics. So luckily I had a couple extra dollars to spend, man. Scholarships were doing well. And my best friend, he was a Jordan head as well. Not as crazy as I am, but he started putting me on to like the retro threes. I remember camping out for like True Blue threes, Fire Red 4s and things of that nature. It was just being around him and seeing the shoes that he went crazy for, and then I joined a fraternity as well, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. All my bros was wearing the Jordans, so I'm just like, these are cool, man, because growing up, my dad was avid Michael Jordan fan, but we never really discussed, the sneakers in the house. My parents couldn't afford to buy me the Jordans. I grew up wearing Reebok, K-Swiss, things of that nature. So when I had some of my own money, then I was able to venture off and start purchasing some of my own sneakers. And man, it was just a wildfire after that, man. Once I bought one, I would just literally have to learn all the numbers, all the silhouettes, and man, bro, it's been history since.
It's like drugs, man. I'm telling you.
So it is. People don't know. I say sneakers are almost like drugs, man. Not going too in depth, but it's addictive, and the more hands that touch a shoe, the more expensive the shoe gets.
Yeah, man, for real. So it's interesting. That story you told about how your parents couldn't afford to get you Jordans. That's everybody's story that we talked to, because that's just the reality of life, right? So what was that first pair that you were able to buy yourself with your own money?
Don't laugh at me, bro. I didn't start. I didn't start with the retros, man. I had to work my way up, man.
Yeah.
I was buying the True Flights and the Flight 45s and the Sub Zeros and things of that nature until I actually started learning about the retros. But the first retro that I actually bought was the Air Jordan 6 Breast that came out of 2010. That was my first. That was my first, and that's probably one of the reasons why Retro 7 is my favorite silhouette, and then it's the Retro 6s and then a Retro 3. So that Air Jordan 6 brand was my baby.
I like that he likes the 6s and 7s, which I like as well, as you know, Gabby.
I do.
And the 3s.
Listen, and those 3s, they're just money.
Yeah, and I think, that's what I love too, right? Is like, what is that gateway? It doesn't have to be like, what is your first pair coming in being like a pair of Jordan Breads, like the ones, right? Like, it's what's connected to you and your own story. And I think like Jarod knows this. For me, my first pair of like hype-ish sneakers were the Zoom Play 95s, right? Like they were too big on me. I just kind of wear them on the tennis court with extra thick socks. My mom was like, you play tennis. I don't really understand. Like you're in soccer shorts. I had a tennis skirt in college that was made out of like basketball shorts. It was like, Nike had like a mesh tennis skirt. I'm like, I don't know why they don't bring that shit back, because that was fire. But like, that was my first pair. And then, I mean, the era of sneakers that you were talking about from like a retro perspective, right? The True Blue 3s, the Toro 4s are one of my personal favorites.
Man, those are dope.
Every time. But
you love a good Toro 4. That is your jam.
But I say that because you've got a lot of really cool heat behind you, even just from what we can see. And I know you love 6s and 7s, but what is your favorite, like your GOAT all-time favorite Jordan?
A lot of people ask me that question, like, Break, if you could have one shoe and only wear that one shoe forever, what would it be? It would be the Black Cement 3. Hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down, the Black Cement 3. That's just a classic. I feel like the Jordan 1 put Jordan on the map, but the Air Jordan 3 just took him to a whole nother planet.
Yeah.
The Air Jordan 3 Black Cement, hands down, will be my go-to.
Because there's something about the all black sneaker, right? Like when you wear it on the court and you're also Michael Jordan, you know what I mean? And you're also elite at basketball, right? It's that thing when you show up anywhere in all black, you best be prepared to kill whatever it is that you're doing, or else you just is like, oh, what's this dude doing?
Why do you wear all black, Jay? Right. Every damn day. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready, right?
Exactly.
That black Cement 3 is just dangerous. And again, like, I was born in 91, so it's not like I grew up, camping out for him or actually seeing Mike wear him. But again, it just going back and doing my history on the shoes and learning the numbers, and the respect that I have for just anybody back in the day who was camping and collecting. I look up to those guys.
Yeah, it was a different world, right, Gabby? We talk about it all the time. How there's no online anything. Like you find out the date for the release. You and your buddies or whoever, all right, we're gonna go to this spot, right? You get there, and you're literally camping out, right? Because that's the only way. Because you're not gonna just show up at the time the store opens and get it, right? That's not happening, right? You're not done. And it's also, as the sneaker industry has changed, it used to be, and Gabby says this all the time, as ones have gotten popular, you can't find those either. Ones used to be sitting on shelves all the time and you can get them. Now, please, you can't. I mean, that's not even a thing now.
I said once they put the Nike Air back on the Air Jordan 1 in 2013, there was no looking back.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same with Dunks, bro. Like my whole college career, like I don't remember anybody buying Dunks. But now all of a sudden Dunks is just, one, they won't sit on shelves. They're selling out. And two, it was just like their demand just came out of nowhere. Just how the Air Jordan 1s, because for years, man, it was people would pick a pair, and some would still may do it, but most people was picking Air Force 1s. They would pick a pair of Air Force 1s over a pair of Air Jordan 1s. And like now the time it just did a completely different shift. But I feel like we're in the mix of a shift now as well with the Retro 4s.
Yeah, no, I like that. Tell me what you're seeing with the Retro 4s.
I feel like the Retro 4 has taken a wave of the Retro 1. And the reason why I feel that is because, one, I just feel like Jordan Brand really watered down the Retro 1. It was like, man, we got something. It was literally like, man, we literally got, a lightning bolt in a jar. And they just took it and they just ran with it. And I just felt like seeing how they came from, a Retro 1 may drop 2 to 3 times a year to now we get in the Retro 1 2 to 3 times a month. And I just felt like, ever since the Shattered Backboard, it was literally a Retro 1 after Retro 1 after Retro 1. And at one point, I felt like a Retro 1 was special just how the Retro 11 was. Once a year, we'd get like a classic or OG or a new colorway. But then it was just a Retro 1, Retro 1, Retro 1. I'm just like, bruh. Y'all killing the Retro 1s. Just how they did the 3s. Remember, a few years ago, they wanted to put the Retro 3s in the vault. It was like the Retro 3s is going to, I want to say it was like 2015. The Retro 3 was going to go in the vault, and we wasn't going to see them for years. I feel like they should do the same thing with the Retro 1, especially after these reimagined drop in October.
Yeah. I'm worried about that with the 4s, though, too, because that's my personal favorite. That's like the first silhouette from a design perspective, right? Like, that I just was like, you look at the details on that, and it's a beautiful shoe in every color. Like the way that they play around with it, and like that's one that like I think it's interesting seeing this year some of the slept on silhouettes, like that maybe didn't get the spotlight in the way that a 1 did, are making a comeback, right? Like even all the stuff with the 2s that are happening, like Jarod, I don't really fuck with 2s. That's fine. I think Union did some cool stuff. The J Balvin ones though, with that like cloud and cushy detail, I'm like
LED lights too.
Yeah,
like, LED lights. Yeah.
Like, and it's making you think differently about sneakers, and that's what I like when it like comes up, like, or even when they reimagined the ones with Travis Scott with the reverse swoosh or the ambush dunks with the extended logo, like those details I'm here for. But it's crazy. I think at some point, like we might even see, and I want your thoughts on this, Retro 1s that are going to be on shelves again because they have oversaturated. Do you think that's
going on now? Yeah. That's going on now. Like, I mean, you can even go with the Marina, since those dropped in January, they're finally not on shelves, but like the Heritage, which I feel like is a dope colorway. It's basically the Travis Scott fragments, but instead of the blue, you got red. I feel like that was a dope shoe. The Brotherhoods, Jordan 1 Brotherhoods, I feel like that was a nice one. The Visionaries, the Vault colorway, those are sitting. So literally every Retro 1 that has dropped this year, it basically sat. Especially like I have members of the Unbreakable Army who's in like France and who's in like Great Britain and Japan and places like that. They like, break, these shoes are literally just sitting overseas. And I'm just like, man, like this going on over here. So I now tell my community, if they sitting overseas, they're going to sit over here as well.
Yeah, no, it's I think too, because we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, part of what we're seeing now too is the result of the pandemic and everything in terms of global economics slowing down, right? Like people, like inflation, recession, all these things are happening now. And people who maybe had a bunch of disposable income don't have as much disposable income now, right? So now a lot of students is like, I only got that $250 to drop this week on these.
A lot of people are more selective now. A lot of people are more selective. And I feel like that's why a lot of sneakers are sitting. But also, and this is just one of my theories, and I could be wrong, but I also feel like during the pandemic, it was a lot of free money going out.
It was.
A lot of free money going out, man. So just like people wasn't technically spending their money. You had PPP money, you know, you had stimulus checks, you had unemployment. So a lot of
COVID
you had a lot of people who just getting more money than they normally would. I honestly feel like this is where sneakers would be had it not been for the pandemic. I feel like the pandemic blinded a lot of people to think that every shoe is going to sell out. This shoe is going to be a $400 shoe. But now things are slowly getting back to normal, and which is not even normal, but it's slowly getting back to maybe how things should have been. Now we seeing, look, I got to be more selective. Like that money them stimulus checks, them gone. Free money, that's gone. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm really working for my money. It's not free money no more.
Yeah. It's definitely different. I'm with you 100% on that. So it's funny because you talked about, you started in the 2010s in terms of buying shoes and all that. So you've really only known it from, in many ways, the online perspective, right? Like you don't know a ton about the early way. How are you seeing the sneaker industry now in terms of the way people collaborate online and communities in virtual world to set up an army like you have now? And we'll get to Unbreakable Kicks in a little bit. But that different community of, no, I meet people online, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, and that's how I spread out versus, I went to this spot, met this person, right? How are you seeing the sneaker community change that way online?
It's completely different, man. Back then, and I even hate to say back then, but 2010 was 12 years ago. 12 years ago, before Instagram was booming, and you had TikTok, and you had so many sneaker influencers. The way of networking was standing in line and camping. I met a lot of friends by just standing in line, camping, and what you do, man, and what shoes you going for, and what spot you normally get your shoes from. So it was just the word of mouth, the word of mouth on the street just by camping in line. If you wasn't in line, you may have missed some vital information. Whereas now I can get on here and be like, Army, look, JD Sport gonna do exclusive access tomorrow. Make sure you got your phones ready. So in a sense, I feel like the sneaker community then versus now, it's watered down and it's easy, man. It's easy. When I was on the eBay Twitter, live podcast, and I just mentioned how I just love how eBay says reselling since 1995. Now you got a lot of people who like it, you got a lot of people who don't, but eBay was the originator. If you took an L on the streets and none of your homies or none of your buddies had them, first place you going was eBay to see, man, how much I got to spend for these. Now you got so many third-party apps where, man, you pick up your phone, bam, okay, missed out on them, boom, they'll be here in a week. To me, it takes the fun away from it because it's so easy now. The chase isn't what it used to be. Now, for me, my chase is, man, when I'm going to find these next PEs that drop. So I had to be honest, I had to elevate just my taste in sneakers in order to still have fun with it. I feel like that's why a lot of people have either sold their sneakers or they have gotten out of sneakers because it's so easy now. You take an L on a pair of Concords in 2018, man, look, you got X amount of options that you can go. Back then, if you took that L, I'm on eBay.
Yeah. And it's, if you're willing to pay, right, you'll get it.
Willing to pay,
Once you're willing to pay, it's like, as everybody takes the L on Sneakers app every Saturday morning, fine. I'm gonna go on StockX. They already got them. Let me go ahead and pay my whatever markup and get them if I want them that bad.
Well, and that's what it is, right, Jay? It's the if you want them now, because I feel like it's the if you want them now tax that comes along with it. Like you can get it when they first drop and have them right away, but like what we're seeing a lot on all of these different platforms, right, is that give it like 3 months, give it 6 months. That starts to level off, like in the way that you're talking about how sneakers are sitting on shelves. Like some of the resale on some of these dunks was crazy. And I'm like, now you go to like eBay, go StockX, whatever your flavor is. And some of them are basically retail because of the way that the market and the pendulum are swinging.
Pandas was a $300 shoe, sometime last year. Now they're sitting less than 200 because they've dropped so many times. Every other week you got a Panda restock. Now for a lot of people, they enjoy it. I feel like I'm a big Marvel fan, okay? So I feel like the sneaker community now is like either you team Iron Man or you team Captain America. And team Iron Man, they cool with paying resale or they're not happy that shoes are sitting.
Right.
You got Team Captain America who loves it. You know, man, I could be more. You know, I could be more selective, man. My car broke down for the month of June. I can't buy the green beans, but they sitting, so I know in July I'll be able to double back. So a lot
Yeah.
of people love the fact that sneakers are sitting, but
Yeah.
that's the consumer side of sneakers. But then you have the resale side of sneakers who some of them are panicking, just like, man, like everything is sitting. How can I make
Yeah.
money? And I've been on both sides of the spectrum, bro. So I'm just sitting back like I'm good
As
either way.
I
You know what I'm saying?
no, for real. As I said to Gabby a couple of weeks ago, all the people who jumped in the game and got bots and bought up all those pairs, I'm like, hey man, them credit card bills come due for all them shoes, and they
Facts.
still sitting. You got to pay that credit card bill, my man. So I don't know what
Mhm.
you gonna do.
True.
Even that bot game's different though. Like back in the day, if like you had a bot, it was very scandalous. Like you'd have one and you could pick up some pairs. Now you need like 67 bots in 37 countries and like 20 different bank accounts and like
Talking about
a
some
PO box
37
and a burner phone and a beeper. Like to get
You
one
do,
pair.
man.
To get one pair to maybe get lucky on one
it's
pair.
tough.
It's like a wild time.
It's tough. It's like everybody's doing it now. You know, I really feel like COVID and being home brought out a lot of resellers because they thought that it was easy. They seen that none of the malls were selling shoes. So if I had my connect with my local mom and pop shop who was still moving shoes, even though the stores are closed, they were eating. You know, COVID brought out a lot of money as far as reselling, but now that the tide has changed, I feel like a lot of people are like I said, panicking. If you were a reseller prior to the pandemic, I feel like you should still be okay. You should still know how to maneuver. But if you got in it simply because you seen your best friend doing it and he was making a lot of money and now you invested all this money and you sitting on a lot of shoes, you could potentially be panicking right now.
For sure. Again, them bills came due, and you're like, damn, ain't nobody bought these yet. So
Tell it
let's
is
talk
now.
right. Let's talk about Unbreakable Kicks, man. So you start buying shoes in college, you're doing your thing, you get on your Jordan grind, but that collection you got behind you, and we only seeing a small fraction of it in the screen. That doesn't just happen overnight.
Nah, it doesn't, bro.
How did it grow, and how did Unbreakable Kicks come about?
Man, hard work and dedication, to be honest, bro. It's always a dream because I never got into sneaker YouTube for the money, for the notoriety. I got into it because I love sneakers, and I first started in Facebook groups, bro. I was posting, new shoes or posting a early pickup in Facebook group, and then I had one guy, and I hate that I cannot remember who this guy was because he changed my life. He was like, "Look, bro, stop posting it here and make a video and put it on YouTube." So the first video that I posted on YouTube was the Air Jordan 11 Space Jams from 2016. I had got them maybe a couple weeks early. I posted them on YouTube, and I got maybe like 4,000 views in like a week. So I'm telling my fiance at the time, which is now my wife, I was telling her, like, 4,000 people literally just watching me talk about a shoe. And I didn't understand the magnitude of it, man. And just to rewind back, how did I get the name Unbreakable Kicks and how did it come about? I got the name Unbreakable from when I pledged my fraternity. Of course, Kicks came from the shoes, but I went to college to become a veterinarian. I was working a shift one night. I had my scrubs on, and I left my home key. I was still staying with my parents. I left my home key in the house. So I called my home. My dad didn't pick up. So I climbed over. We had a gate. I climbed over the gate. My scrubs got caught onto the gate.
Oh no!
I shattered my patella into 3 pieces, and I broke my arm.
No.
So now I'm on short-term disability in the bed for months. And my accounts were negative. I need money, but I'm still buying shoes. It was just the addiction of being a sneakerhead. And that's when a guy was just like, "Man, you should post videos on YouTube." So I started posting videos on YouTube, and I feel like I woke up yesterday, bro. I got 200 almost 30,000 subscribers on YouTube, man. Wow. Instagram is going phenomenal. Had the pleasure to work with eBay. Had the pleasure to work with numerous companies. I've been on TV. I've traveled the world for free because of sneakers, man. So to be honest, how did I get here? It's still
a dream.
consistency. It's a dream,
Yeah.
but I was consistent throughout that dream, bro. I
Well,
really can't even give you the steps. I was just consistent.
Well, because the big thing is, as you said, you didn't get into it for the money. Like, you love sneakers. As you mentioned, you're in the bed, laid up on disability, shattered patella, busted up arm. You still out here buying sneakers, even though you probably shouldn't have, right?
Shouldn't have at all, bro.
Like TJ would be a little upset about this one. TJ would be like,
correct.
Your rent payment first, then you buy your sneakers.
Luckily, I was staying with my parents. They was taking good care of me.
All right,
but that's the mindset, though, right? Because you just love this thing so much, and that is the authenticity, right? So when people saw you and they knew, oh, this ain't just some dude out here trying to hustle me. This dude loves some sneakers, and that's it. As humans, that's what we relate to. And think about the things you enjoy and love. You like them because whoever's doing it, it's authentic, right? It ain't no bullshit. They not trying to hustle you. You just, and you know it. You don't got to be. You feel it. You know when someone's real, and you know when this is bullshit. I'm not really trying to listen to this. And that's the reality, and that's the beauty of it. And again, as people always listen to this show and they try to figure out how can I become, and it's the same thing that you're saying, the same thing that we always say. Find whatever it is that you love and commit to doing that with consistency, whether it's content creation, whatever it is, and just doing it. And look, it's going to be some times where your accounts are negative or good things ain't happening. But if you love it, it ain't about, right? It will come around. And that's just how it develops for people. And it's, but it's a hard lesson when you're in the short term. And like I said, like, you need that cash. And you're like, damn, man, how's this going to happen? Is it ever going to happen?
Well, that's when that resale game comes in. That's when that resale game comes in. All right. On my rent check this month, let me sell a pair.
Man, look, and resale, I didn't even get into sneakers to resale. Resale just kind of came with the territory for me because, like, I was able to get my sneakers and then I'll have a couple frat bros like, man, bro, can you help me get my pair? And I have some friends say, hey, can you help me? Or just some people on Facebook like, hey, can you help me? So I started off by just adding $30-$40 on top, man, so that it can cover my pair. At first, I just wanted my pair to be free. I help y'all get y'all stuff. And then it just boomed. And I'm just like, everybody lit. I haven't did a pre-order on the shoe. I haven't did anything of that magnitude in almost 2 years, but I still have people asking me, Break, can you help me get these shoes? Or can you do this? Now I just, middleman and like, hey, my man's over here, he do it XYZ because I'm just too busy for it now. But a lot came with this territory, man. A lot. Some good and some bad,
We love it, man. Now, this is great. Stay tuned, though, folks, because coming up next is America's favorite segment, Shoe and Tell, presented by Another Lane, the premier digital marketplace for dope kicks. Look, y'all already know how amped I got over the collegiate collection in the threes. And so I already know he's going to show off some of those. But listen, the heat that he has in that room, I can't even imagine what's in there. But he's going to show us some stuff.
I'm looking at this area right here, bro.
I can't even imagine what he's going to show us. Everybody stay tuned. Coming up next, Shoe and Tell. What's good, y'all? We are back, and you know what time it is. America's favorite segment, Shoe and Tell, presented by Another Lane, the premier digital marketplace for dope kicks. Look, Chad and Adina Jones, husband and wife team, run that site. Listen, if you're trying to learn about sneakers, go talk to my man, Chad, a.k.a. Sneaker Galactus. First of all, with a handle called Sneaker Galactus, you know that dude knows something about sneakers.
You gotta have some people. You gotta know some stuff with that name, bro.
You talk about PE exclusives. This dude will be like, only one of these exists. It's like this actual players, and I got it. Like, I'm telling you, it's crazy. Chad's an OG, so Chad's a little bit older than you, so he's been doing this for a minute. So that's what he does now. It's not that he doesn't like any of the new stuff, but it's like we're talking about he hopping on planes, going to wherever to get those exclusives.
That's crazy. Hey, that's that dedication though, man. Like, if somebody was to tell me right now that we got the Kobe pack, the black pair for you right now, hop on the plane, go to Seattle, I'm gone. I'm gone. Tell me the ticket. I'm gonna go ahead and pay what I gotta pay. If I gotta sell some stuff out of here, I'm gonna do it. But it's certain shoes, like, and we'll talk about one that I'm talking about that once you get that phone call, you can pass up on it, bro. You can't pass up on it.
I love it. Well, listen, Break. It's Show and Tell is the guest the guest show. So you take it away, my man. Show us what you got. Tell us why it's important to you, why you like it. Take it away.
I'm gonna start with these right here, man. And I'm gonna see how many people can relate to what I'm gonna say. So first and foremost, this is my favorite rappers collab. I got the Air Jordan 12 OVO right here. Now, the reason why I have this is, again, like I told you, I started collecting in college, and when the OVO 10s came out and the 12s came out, they were only samples. And you could only get them off Flight Club. That was the only place that had the OVOs available. And these were $1,200, $2,000 shoes. And at that time, I'm just like, who in the right mind is going to pay that amount of money for sneakers? Now, if I can go back and talk to myself then, I'd be like, my brother, just wait to see you in the next 12 years. But these were just special to me, man, because, again, just some shoes that I really wanted to get, but I knew that, A, they didn't have my size at the time, and B, like, these were only sample pairs, so you had to drop that bag to get them, or, you had to be, close to the OVO team in order to secure something like that. So the OVOs will forever be special. Next up, I got my favorite Dornbecker of all time, Air Jordan 4 DB. Now, these are special because this shoe right here was right in the beginning of me learning about sneakers. So I'm learning about shoes. I'm like, man, these joints are dope. I'm going to go to Foot Locker and see if I can cop. Not knowing that the DBs only dropped at Nike. So these dropped at, of course, Nike Chicago, but I'm all the way, down in school, so I couldn't get them. I'm literally thinking I'm going to wake up and get online and be able to cop these. And these are special because this was one of the first shoes that I actually was on YouTube trying to decipher a legit pair, because it was so many fakes of the DB4s, from the way the triangles were on the toe box, from the Superman on the tongue, from Isaiah's eyebrow cut, like it had to be on the right eyebrow. So it's just like, I studied this shoe probably more than I studied in like some of my animal science classes. Like literally, like I needed to make sure that I had a legit pair of these. Now these are still desktop because this is a 10.5. Now if I can find an 11 or 11.5, I'll go ahead and bust them on feet. But these have gone up tremendously over the last couple years.
I love that pair.
The next shoe, I only brought down one of it, but this one is extremely special to me, and it's the Air Jordan 3 Kobe's. I have the H as well. I was able to secure this pack from my man Sneaker Sluts, who owns Soul Steals and Soul Supremacy, and I went to SneakerCon Chicago in 2017, and the day before, I kid you not, bro, on my daughter, I had a dream about this shoe the day before. And I went to SneakerCon Chicago, and there was a guy who had this pack. And he only had a size 8. And I did a video on him. And I was just like, one day I'm going to own these. And my boy, like I'm to the point now where my guys know what I'm looking for. They know what I want. So when they get something crazy, something hot in, once I see that FaceTime, I'm like, oh, shit, what you got? So he was like, size 11? I'm like, bro, that's my size. Kobe pack, I've been looking for it.
I love it.
When I say I got a deal, I was working with a company, and they was giving me credit for, working with them. So I used $6,000 in credit and $6,000 in cash to get the Kobe pack.
Wow.
So honestly, I paid $6,000 for my Kobe pack, and both of these I wore. I wore the 3s on my 30th birthday when I turned 30 last year. The 8s, I wore those to 2J's Kicks grand opening in Vegas last year as well. So to be able to own these and actually put them on the ground, because once Kobe passed, I got a call from one of my guys who know I had these, and he sells to like DJ Khaled, he sells to some of the other rappers. And he was just like, I know you got a size 11, it's not Drake's size, but Drake is looking for a brand new Kobe pack just to sit on. I'm like, that's cool. I'm like, how much? You like $40K? And I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm like, unless Drake comes in here and signs every OVO that I have in this case over here, every OVO that I have in this case, they're going to stay here with me. So I put them on feet.
I just got to say,
I put them on feet.
I got to say, for those who are listening to this show, head to YouTube, please, for the video because it is next level. I mean,
you need to see this man's sneaker closet right now because you're going to lose your mind. All right, man. What else you going to show us?
What else you want to see,
where
man?
we go from here?
I'm trying to see if I can.
Well, you know what? You already showed me the UNC. Why don't you show me them Oregons that are behind you? Because, you know.
Which one, bro?
The whites. The white ones.
The fact that you know which one.
Right here, we have the Oregon 7s. These were for the, I want to say this was men's.
Yep.
This is the men's colorway. Yep. But the women's basketball team got the white pair. Now, I've only seen one person sell the white pair, and luckily it was my size. And I'm the only person that I personally know that has this. And this is a size 12 and a half women, which is a size 11. And it was only 120 of these made. And I haven't seen anyone else with the white pair. The white pair was extremely, extremely limited, man. So those are 7s, and of course, you can't have the 7s without the 6s. So we know the electric green joints dropped. They were similar to these, but they not the PE.
Yeah.
And then of course the women had the white pair. And again,
you got the white pair.
I haven't seen many people. I feel like I'm the only person that I've seen with the white pair as well. So I have the women's 6. And I have the women's 7s as well.
I'm going to take my jaw off the floor right now.
And you got what? And you got the white 3s too, right?
I got the white 3s. Got the white 3s. We got the duck on the back. This is my favorite PE of all time, bro. This is what got me into PEs, the pit crews.
Oh.
The pit crew, Jordan, because I love the black cement 3s.
Yep.
And I put my PEs on the ground. Like, a lot of the GRs, I love my GRs. But when I'm going to a SneakerCon or something, I'm busting out some heat. So this is when majority of like my PEs get put on foot. But another special one, the Duckman 4s.
Yo!
I paid 12. I paid $12,000 for these.
I don't even know what I'm looking at right now. Like, this is not real life for those. Again, YouTube, y'all. This is like, I'm not speechless very often, but like,
break. I'm really because like again, I have no connection to the University of Oregon. Like whatever, it's just of course we know Bowerman and Phil Knight and all that, blah blah blah. But I didn't go to Oregon, so I got whatever. But let me tell you.
Can we do like a slow-mo pan of the shoe across the camera, just like focus on the detail? I mean.
These right here, the Duckman 4s. Again, this probably is one of either these or the OVO 4 splatters. I want to say I probably paid $10,000 for the OVO splatters, but these $12K. This is the most expensive sneaker that I own. And the crazy thing is the hang tag itself goes for about $2 just for the hang tag.
Just the hang
tag. You
got
the O on one side, and then you got the Duckman on the back.
Yo.
Now I want the 5s. I want the 5s. Who was I talking to, man? Was it Big Boy Chang? It was either Big Boy Chang or my boy the Petch. They have the Duckman 5s. They want $20K for them. So
I mean, that seems right up your alley. That seems right in your wheelhouse.
That's one of those. Okay, let me sit in the room for a little bit. You can go. You can go. That's about $2K. You can go. That's about $3K. So if anything, for a purchase like that, I don't mind doing half cash and half trades.
Okay.
Because again, a lot of the sneakers that I have in here, bro, like I got all the PSNYs. That dropped the public school New York collab with the 12s. I got all those. Eventually, like I may want to put them on feet, bro, but I know I can get those back. It's certain shoes, and the Kobe pack was one of them. It's certain shoes that when the opportunity calls, especially in your size, you gotta take
answer
it.
that
You
call.
gotta take it.
Yeah, man.
You gotta take it.
I think for those who don't know too, right? Like there's a few things that I want to unpack just for like those who might not know all the lingo that is going around, right? GR does not just stand for Gabby Rosenthal. It's also general release, right? GS, I thought it was girl sizes when I first got into sneakers. It's not, it's grade school. So, you know, there's a bunch of different things out there. And when we talk about PE,
and PE is player exclusive.
Player exclusives. But the way that you talk about it from a rare standpoint, right? Like we talk about even how hard those damn Panda Dunk lows were to get as like a general release. And those were what?
Yeah.
6 figures in terms of the amount of pairs that were created. So when you look at something like that you don't even hit 1,000, like that is wild. Let's try to paint the picture for those who might not know exactly what we're looking at here. You know what I mean? This is like,
listen, it's
a, you know, I've come
another lane, my friend.
I've come so accustomed to just walking into this room every day. So it's just like my wow factor is gone as far as like some of my sneakers. But again, it's like when I go out to like a SneakerCon and see some of the stuff that I don't have, like Transformer 5s or Wahlburger 4s and things like that, I'm just like, the chase continues. And the crazy thing is, like, those shoes are continuously going up.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's why, like, again, if you want to get into PEs and samples, you gotta grab them at the right time. One thing I have learned is the newer stuff, you can kind of wait and let that simmer, because the hype is always gonna, you know, be there. As soon as they, you know, unveiled the UCLA 6s and the new Michigan 6, the Marquette, like, price is gonna be up. But once that wow factor dies down, I'll be able to grab all those for maybe anywhere from like $5 to $6K a pop, instead of paying like $8 to $10 right now. That's on the cheap end, Gabby.
Do you know, Gabby, you're saying like all the grails, but do you know my PE grail? I think you do.
Are we talking Scrooge McDucks, Jay? We talking Scrooge McDucks?
The KD11 Scrooge McDucks, baby. Like,
really?
I love those. Like, because
that's what we're gonna
mainly because I, you know, DuckTales is just a hilarious cartoon. I just found it so funny, like as a youngster.
Song out there for a cartoon.
And I mean, my man out here swimming in a money bin, all right, among coins. Like, what the hell? And then the KD11's a nice silhouette, and KD's my guy, as you know. So I'm like, I mean, KD11.
It's a nostalgia, bro. It's a nostalgia. You know what I'm saying? Like, nostalgia sells. Like, it's crazy to me. It's crazy how OG sit, but a lot of these newer colorways will sell out before OG. Yeah. And I'm just like, bro, like the playoff 12s. Like, how are the playoff 12s sitting on shelves right now? Like, it baffles me. It baffles me how the sneaker community is. But I also have to learn, like, a lot of these cats now, they didn't grow up watching Mike. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So it's different for them to put respect on a pair of Air Jordan 2 Chicagos that's dropping in October. When they, like, I didn't see them, but again, I did history. I don't know how many sneakerheads nowadays. I say a sneakerhead is born every day, but I don't know how many put hours into actually learning the art and the craft. Like, to me, this is more than just synthetic leather that's on these shoes. You know, this is hours of me spending trying to learn all the colorways in the Retro 4s. I always test my friends and say, you will get me if you can pull up a Air Jordan 1 through 14 and I don't know what shoe it is. If you can do that, you found something special. But I feel like I know every colorway in 1 through 4, 1 through 14.
I love it, man. Break, this is dope. We could talk to you for a million hours because you're really in this. But tell the people, man, where they can find you and where they could check out Unbreakable.
Man, you guys can find me on YouTube at Unbreakable Kicks, Instagram at Unbreakable Kicks. I try to keep it simple. TikTok, Unbreakable Kicks, and Twitter, Break 111710.
I love it, man. And you guys know where you can find us. We are part of the Count Things family. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, all that at Kicks and Shit Show on all social media platforms. Again, you can find us with the Count the Dings family, with the original Bomb Show, Crypto Bros, Woke Bros, and of course us, the Kicks and Shit Show. Until next time, everybody. Peace.
Appreciate y'all.